Good morning, folks. My name is Hitzemann, County Court Judge here in Hernando County. You folks are here for your first appearance. The purpose of the first appearance is so that you may be informed of the charges against you. I'll determine if there's probable cause for those charges. Probable cause simply means that it's more likely than not that a crime has occurred, and more likely than not that you're the person that committed the crime. Of course, as you stand before me this morning, I presume that you're innocent of those charges. That presumption of innocence will stay with you through every stage of the proceedings unless and until the State Attorney's Office can prove the allegations against you beyond and to the exclusion of a reasonable doubt. We'll set your conditions of pretrial release this morning. That is your bail or your bond. Most of you had a bond set already pursuant to the bond schedule here in the 5th Judicial Circuit, or the warrant which led to your arrest. I'll determine if that bond should be raised or lowered or left the same, or whether there'll be additional conditions of pretrial release placed upon you. We'll let you know when your next court date will be. If you'd like to have the services of the public defender, I'll gladly appoint the PD to represent you this morning. You do have a right to have contact with folks on the outside, family, friends, counsel. If you have not had a chance to make that call, please let me know. We'll make sure that that happens. Finally, and most importantly, you're advised that you do have an absolute right to remain silent with regard to the facts which surround your arrest. I encourage you to do that. These proceedings are recorded. In addition, there is an assistant state attorney in the courtroom with us. If you say something that tends to incriminate you, they will use it against you in the prosecution down the road. I now need each and every one of you there at the jail to please raise your right hands and be sworn. Do all solemnly swear or affirm, tell the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth? Outstanding. When I call your name, please step forward to the podium. Diane Gillen. Want to miss what's your date of birth?
Excuse me?
What is your date of birth?
5/23/1956.
All right. Two charges this morning, domestic battery and resisting without violence. There's probable cause for those charges. As to those charges, do you wish to represent yourself? Do you plan to hire a private attorney? Would you like me to appoint you an attorney from the Public Defender's Office?
Public defender, I can't afford one.
I'll appoint the public defender. State what you tell.
She was arrested once, many years ago, and was not convicted of anything. Has no prior convictions and no history besides
Last night.
And whatever happened 15 years ago.
All right.
That nothing.
All right. Diane, I have an address for you on Baldock Avenue in Spring Hill. Is that where you live?
Yes.
How long have you lived there?
5 years.
And Anthony lives there too?
He does now.
That's enough. You have a job these days?
Yes, I do. I'm the sole provider.
Okay. What do you do for work?
I'm assistant director, education,
Where?
Gulf Coast Academy
Okay.
for Hernando County. And Gulf Coast.
Okay. Here's what I'm going to do, Diane. On the domestic battery, I'm going to set a bond of $10. On the resisting, I'm going to release you on your own recognizance. Condition of the bond is that you'll have peaceful contact only with Anthony. I'm not ordering you to have any contact with him, but if you're going to have contact with him, it's going to be contact that is amenable of being described as peaceful contact. So no raising your voice or anything like that. If I find out that you had contact with him that is anything but peaceful, your bond could be revoked and you could be held without bond while the charges are resolved. We're going to have you back in court on the 13th of December. Very important that you visit with the Public Defender's Office before that court date, okay?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anthony Gillen. Morning, Anthony. What's your date of birth?
8/15/69.
Anthony charges also battery being domestic in nature. There's probable cause for the charge. As to that charge, you want to represent yourself. You want to hire private counsel. Would you like the public defender?
Public defender, sir.
I'll appoint the PD. State.
Mr. Anthony Gillen has quite a history as compared to Miss Gillen. His history goes back about 20 years of drugs, sale of pot, violations of probation. He's been to prison, driving unsuspended, violations of probation, failures to appear. His first battery conviction was in '07. Then you had Willis, violation of probation, resist. Like there was another, in 2010, there was another domestic violence incident. It looks like a strangulation case that resulted in something less than that. He had Willis in 12, and in 13 he had another battery domestic that was dropped. So it's at least 3 or 4 prior battery arrests.
Okay. And Anthony, I have that address on Baldock Avenue. Is that where you live?
Yes, sir.
How long have you been there?
5 years.
Do you have a job these days?
I paint a little bit.
Okay. And Diane, how are you related to Diane?
She's my wife.
Okay. All right. In your case, I am going to set the bond at $2,000. I'm going to order you not to have any contact with Diane. No contact means no contact of any kind. You don't call, you don't write, you don't email, you don't text message. You don't have a contact her through any social media. You don't have a third person contact her. Don't go where she lives. Don't go where she works. Don't have any contact of any kind. Any way that you might imagine contacting her, I forbid you to do that. If you have contact and we find out about it, your bond will be revoked and you will be held without bond until the charges are resolved. It means no contact now, even if she wants the contact, so if you answer your phone and hear her voice, you should hang up. If you're out and about and see her, you should turn around and run the other way. I'm also going to hold you up until 4 p.m. today, so that if she wanted to serve you with a civil injunction for protection against domestic violence, we'd know where to find you. If you get the civil injunction, it's doubly important that you not have contact, because in that case, not only could you get your bond revoked here, but you could get new charges for violating the injunction. Also need you to know that she cannot drop the charges against you. That's not a decision she's allowed to make. She may go to the state attorney's office and request that they drop the charges, tell them that she doesn't want to pursue this matter, but that decision belongs solely to the assistant state attorney handling your case. So unless that person or the judge on your case tells you the charges are dropped, you should assume they're not dropped and you should not have contact. I'm going to have you back in court on the 13th of December. If you get out, Anthony, it's very important that you go there, because it's quite, I think there's a high probability that the state attorney's office will file this as a felony. It isn't that way now, but you need to get to the public defender's office as soon as you can, all right? Thank you.
Thank you. What was the court date?
It's 12/13.
Thank you very much.
Zachary Bates. Morning, Zachary. What's your date of birth?
6/23/64.
Zachary charges disorderly intox. State, is there an offer for him to resolve at this moment?
Yeah, but it's not going to be a time served, Your Honor.
No, I'm with you.
Oh, yeah.
I want to know what it is. Yeah.
45 days.
All right. Zachary, the offer, if you want to resolve it today, is 45 days in the county jail. If you'd like to do that today, you can. If you'd rather talk about a lawyer, I can get you a lawyer.
Oh, you're saying 45 days time served?
They're saying you do 45 days and you got about 2 days time served. So you'd have 43 days left to do, which is about 38 days left to do. You don't have to
no
take
contest.
it. You want to take the plea?
I'll be no contest.
All right. You understand, by entering a plea, you give up the right to have a trial by jury, the right to confront the witnesses against you, the right to remain silent, right to have a lawyer represent you, but you want to give up those rights so we can take care of this today? Yes?
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Yes.
And then as to the charge of disorderly conduct, how do you wish to plead? Now you can plead no contest.
Yep, no contest.
I'll accept that plea. Find is freely and voluntarily made. Adjudicate you guilty of the charge. Sentence you to 45 days in the county jail. Credit 2 days served. Fine and court cost is $503. And your cost of incarceration. Zachary, you just need to finish the time, all right?
Yep.
Thank you. Oh, because it's drugs and alcohol. Sure. I can't pay anyway. Christopher Illis.
Good morning.
Morning, Christopher. What's your date of birth?
1983, sir.
Christopher, the charge is trespass. There's probable cause for the charge. As to that charge, you want to represent yourself. You want to hire private counsel. Would you like me to appoint the public defender?
I'll represent myself, sir. I admit to it. I did trespass. I do apologize.
Okay. State we can jump.
Come 1 second. I'm sorry, I hadn't read the PC affidavit until a second. His history is not as bad as Mr. Beatty's. However, he does have some history of resisting, loitering, and prowling. Hasn't been in trouble in a while. Here, he has some out-of-state history. From Alabama. That is a couple years ago, driving under the influence. Being that I know his history is not that extensive, I would be inclined to let him plead and credit check.
Oh, okay. Christopher, you want to take time served this morning?
Yes, sir. I'd like to be released. I do have a full-time job.
Okay.
I'm going to get back to first thing tomorrow.
All right. You understand by entering a plea today, you give up the right to have a trial by jury, the right to confront the witnesses against you, the right to remain silent, the right to have a lawyer, but you want to give up those rights so we can take care of this today?
Yes, sir. I'd like to plead guilty if I can get released today.
Very good. I'll accept your guilty plea. Find is freely and voluntarily made. Adjudicate you guilty. Sentence you to 2 days in the county jail. Credit 2 days served. Fine and court costs is $503 and your cost of incarceration. If there's nothing else keeping you in the jail, Christopher, you will be released today.
Okay. Should I be getting something in the mail about court costs and fines I got to pay off, or how does that work?
I don't know that you'll get anything in the mail, but you can always come into the courthouse, go to room 136 on the first floor, and they'll set you up.
Okay, definitely. Thank you, Your Honor.
Just so I believe he is trespassing
Yeah,
on that
right.
location.
And Christopher, that trespass is still active, okay?
Okay, from the corner store, correct?
Yep.
Okay, I'll stay away from there. Never go back there. Thank you.
They'll be happy.
Joshua Lott. Morning, Joshua. What's your date of birth?
1490.
Joshua, I've got a warrant for you out of Sumter County. Looks like the judge that signed the warrant found probable cause for a violation of probation. That judge set your bond at no bond. I can't change that. We will notify the folks in Sumter that you're here and ready to go. I'll give them 5 days to come pick you up. It doesn't take 5 days with Sumter. But if for some strange reason you're still here in 5 days, they'll bring you back to see me, and I'll find out what the holdup is, all right?
Does it say what the reason for violation was?
No, I have no idea. It's a out-of-county warrant. I just know there's a warrant. Yep.
All right.
Thank you. Damian Marsh. Morning, Damian. What's your date of birth?
10/24/94.
Charge is aggravated assault. There's probable cause for that charge. As to that charge, you want to represent yourself. You want to hire private counsel. Would you like me to appoint the public defender?
Public defender.
I'll appoint the PD. State.
He only has history over the last 2 or 3 years, driving suspended. But last year, such as drug paraphernalia, possession of controlled substances, traffic violations. Some of them were maybe. Doesn't have any open cases. He had a failure to appear, though, at the beginning of this year in Hillsborough. He had another one here in Hernando.
That failure to appear was before the one in Hillsborough.
Okay.
He has some out-of-state history. Some kind of warrant out of... It might be this case. I'm not sure. It just shows that there's a sheriff's office, Tampa, wanted. I don't know. He may have an out-of-county warrant.
Okay.
They drop. I'm not sure.
Mr. Marsh, I have an address for you on Black Oak Trail in Brooksville. Is that where you live?
Yes, sir.
How long have you lived there?
About 6 months now.
And does Bianca live there?
Yeah, I'm trying to, as soon as I'm out of here, I'm going to be leaving. I'd like to get, even if at all possible, I'd like to have a protection order or a restraining order put between us and a mediator for our son so we don't have any contact at all now.
Okay, well that's going to happen. Do you have a job these days?
Yes, I do.
What do you do?
Landscaping.
Say again?
Landscaping.
Okay. I'm going to set your bond at $2,500. Condition is that you have no contact with Bianca. Did you hear me explain no contact a moment ago?
Yes, sir.
And you understood that?
Yes, sir.
Also going to have you held until 4 p.m. so that if she wants to serve you with a civil injunction, we know where to find you. Also then, as far as that address on Black Oak is concerned,
It'll be changed immediately.
if she decides to stay there, she can stay there. If she does stay there, you'll have to stay somewhere else. You can go by one time to collect your things, your clothes, your toothbrush, whatever you need, but you must contact law enforcement first.
Do I have to have an
If you interrupt me again, I'm going to hold you in contempt, you knucklehead. Can you just shut up and listen?
Yes.
Perfect. If you go back there, you got to contact law enforcement first. They'll meet you there with a deputy who'll stand by, who'll collect your things while you collect your things and go wherever you're going. You're going to be back in court on the 18th of December. Very important that you go and see the public defender before that date. Do you have any questions?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Oh, okay. I do have a question.
Go ahead.
Now, is there anything else holding me here? I heard her say something about maybe a possible warrant. I don't.
They will check before you bond out. They'll check, and if there is anything, they'll let you know.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Larry Whitman. Thank you. Wonder, Mr. Whitman, what's your date of birth?
3/23/81.
All right. I got 5 charges this morning, Mr. Whitman. The first one is allowing a person under the age of 16 to be in possession of a loaded weapon. I have a felon in possession of a weapon. I have trespassing. I have grand theft of a weapon, a firearm. And then I also have contributing to the delinquency of a minor. There's probable cause for all those charges. As to those charges, you wish to represent yourself. You're going to hire a private counsel. Or would you like me to appoint the public defender?
Public defender.
I'll appoint the PD, Steve.
Mr. Whitman's history: 99 shoplifting, DUI, Willis, marijuana possession, drug paraphernalia. He got some PTI on some drugs back in 04, felony paraphernalia convictions, flee and elude. Have PTI on that, driving unsuspended, theft, petty theft, grand theft, drug possession, DUI with a refusal, third with intent, drug possession, introduction of contraband into a facility, probation violations, burglary of a structure, which was reduced to a trespass. That's the last one that was just earlier this year.
Okay. And Larry, where you been staying lately?
At 22 Avenue.
Okay. Do you have a job these days?
Yeah, I work for my dad.
What do you do?
Sell shoes.
Okay. All right. We leave the bonds per the schedule, Larry. It's 2,000, 5,000, 2,000, 2,000, and 1,000 respectively. That's a total of 12,000. I'll have you back in court on the 18th of December. If you get out, very important that you go see the public defender right away, all right?
All right, is there a way I can get bond reduction?
Not this morning, Larry, with what I know. When you talk to the PD, you might be able to get a bond reduction, but they'll have to talk about that and then talk to the judge that's going to handle your case, which looks like it'll be Judge Toner, all right?
All right,
Thank you. David Brady.
It's a change of plea, Judge. He just got sentenced to 44 months, Department of Corrections. He has 3 cases here this morning, all misdemeanors, 17 mm 3444, 17 mm 3730, and 17 mm 3731. In each of those, he's charged with a single count of petty theft in 30 and 31. He also has a resisting without in both of those. And he has a total of 63 days in. We'd be asking for time served, no coin, assessed on the felon.
All right, I heard you guys talking about restitution.
Yes, Your Honor. In case 3730, I have a restitution order for Walmart for 167.05, and for 3731, a restitution order for Walmart in the amount of 184.28. Joint and several. I guess this was this felony case, and that's just him. And he's up to the court.
Okay.
Mr. Brady, you want to stipulate to those amounts of restitution?
Okay.
He's indicating he'd stipulate to those amounts, Judge.
There's also in case 3444 an investigative cost of $85.
That sounds like Brooksville PD.
Probably. Yeah. Yes, it is.
Okay. All right. Very good. All right, David, raise your right hand for me. Solemnly swear firm, tell the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth.
Yes.
State your name.
David Brady.
Mr. Brady, you understand by entering pleas in these cases, you give up the right to have a trial by jury, the right to confront the witnesses against you, the right to remain silent. Should we give up those rights so we can resolve these cases today?
Yes, sir.
Case number 17, MM3444. As to the charge of petty theft, how do you wish to plead? You can plead no contest.
No problem.
I'll accept that plea. Find it's freely and voluntarily made. I will adjudicate you guilty of the charge. Sentence you to 63 days in the county jail. Credit 63 days served. There'll be a fine and court cost of $620. Investigative cost to the Brooksville Police Department of $85. In case number 17MM3730, as to the charge of petty theft, how do you wish to plead? You can plead no contest.
No contest.
And the charge of resisting emergency efforts, how do you wish to plead? You can plead no contest.
No contest.
Accept those pleas, find they're freely and voluntarily made. I'll adjudicate you guilty on both counts. Sentence you to 63 days in the county jail on each count. Credit 63 served on each count. Fine and court cost is $620. 167.05 in restitution to Walmart. $100 for the public defender's office, and $100 on the 3444. I didn't say that before. And then,
I'm sorry.
Yep.
Was 88 for count 2?
Oh, right, 88 for count 2. Right, thanks. That's why you're here. 17MM3731. Then, as to the charge of petty theft, how do you wish to plead? You can plead no contest.
No contest.
And charge 2, resisting emergency efforts. How do you wish to plead? You may plead no contest.
No contest.
Accept those pleas, find them freely and voluntarily made. I will adjudicate you guilty on both counts. 63 days in the county jail on both counts. Credit 63 served on both counts. Fine and court cost is $620 on count 1, $88 on count 2, $184.28 for Walmart, and $100 for the public defender's office. That takes care of these misdemeanors. David, you're now free to go wherever it is that you're going next, all right?
All right, thank you.
All right, good luck to you.
No, each one of those includes cost of prosecution.
Yep.
The fines.
Yep, it's all in fine.
Thanks.
Very good.